command. You can pass arguments to that command, try different things out, and see what do you get. Not bad for actually finding things out and figuring what is where. I wonder if man for ls is going to work. Yes, it will. So you see, you can actually access man pages while writing a script of a sort to run on your system. So if you're confused about something, if you're uncertain how something works, you can actually visit man pages and from there figure it out. Very handy, right? Incredibly useful. Anyway, I would like to bid you all farewell, and I hope to see you in the follow-up tutorial where we will deal further with task automation. Welcome everybody to this tutorial. Today I am actually going to create a cron job where we will define when it will actually run. So we will say, okay, either every minute or every hour or I don't know, every day or something of a kind. Doesn't really matter. What is important is that we will create a cron job. In addition to the cron job, I will create a bash script which will run along it. Now, I won't actually describe what the bash script is, how to make it, etc. now. We will cover that in the regular expression part of the course, and there I will cover such things in far greater detail. But for the time being, I just needed a sample to actually utilize it in order to run this thing, in order to create some sort of a meaningful cron job that can perform an action which we can actually see. Also, I will schedule it to run every minute so that we can see the results as opposed to scheduling it to run every hour, which would be far more realistic. But I will show you how to schedule them like on an hourly basis, for example, or a monthly basis or something of a kind. It's quite simple. Now, let me just go ahead and exit this file. Oops, I'm in insert mode, so quit and force quit. Do not save anything. Let's go ahead and clear the screen. Now, one of the first things that we need to do, aside from creating a cron job, we need to create a script that's gonna run. So I'm gonna do ls. Okay, I have already tried this out. Have encountered some minor trivial problems, but all is well. Let's go rf. And this is also a neat way to delete things, but also quite dangerous because once I do this, it's gone permanently. As I've described it before, it will be very difficult for you to recover anything. And I have also deleted it with wildcard at the end, so pretty much anything that contains not contains, but any file that begins with this and ends with pretty much anything will get deleted there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and skip the explanation of that as I have already explained it. I wouldn't want to bore you or anything of a kind. Now we're going to go ahead, now we're gonna do ls and go into, where did I put that folder for myself? Ah yes, there we go, scripts. ls, and I already have a script here. It's called first.sh. Let's just see what is located in first.sh. I'll use cat. Excellent, so we have this command here in my bash script. The extension for it is .sh. Don't worry about it if you don't figure it out straight away or if it seems a bit confusing. We will simply use this script as an example, as something that we can utilize now, but the script itself is not relevant. In fact, what the script does is unimportant except for this last part. All that it does is create new files in a specified folder. That is it, nothing else. I just needed to demonstrate how you can schedule a cron job that will run in a repeating fashion. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and type in VIM so you can get a bit of a better view of this. Where is it? First. Excellent, so there it is. This is all that you would need to write in your file. All that you need to do is basically literally type in VIM, name it whatever you want. Just remember to put .sh at the end for reference sake. So the name of mine is basically first.sh, and this is all that you need to write. I've written a here it's a bash script, and down below I have written a command. I could have changed any number of commands here. I could have created loops, etc. But no, I just want to stick to something simple for the time being in terms of bash scripting, because we will do that later, and you do not have, I don't know, as far as I know, you don't have understanding of bash or of scripting in Linux. So I've decided to stick with something fairly simple until I get the chance to explain it in great detail, where you will become proficient with bash. Anyway, you have the command touch, which we have dealt with before. I have written it here, and then I have specified where I want my file to be created. Aside from that, I have named my file new file hyphen or minus sign, whichever way you want to look at it. And then I have an interesting command here. It's date. This $sign, open parentheses and close parentheses, means, as I've explained before, that this here will become a value which will be placed here, which will replace this whole thing, which will replace this whole expression. That is simple enough to understand, but date is another command which we have not used thus far, and I would like to show it to you now. So let's go ahead and see how date works and what it actually does. First, clear the screen, type in date, and by default it will print this out. Monday, 18th of May, 1400 hours, 37 minutes and 27 seconds. Let's go ahead and run it again. You see that the amount of seconds changes. And if I keep on running it, you see the amount of seconds keeps getting iterated until eventually minutes and hours are iterated as well. Let's go ahead and clear this. Now this is why is this date so important? Why have I placed it there in that file? Well, I would like to tag every file with the exact time of its creation and the date of its creation. This is very important, as network administrators do very often tend to attach dates and times of creation to the file names. Several reasons for that. First of all, it makes the file names unique no matter what. It's, well, maybe not no matter what, but it's highly unlikely. Well, actually, it's impossible for your files to have the same exact, well, I would say unlikely or impossible, one of the two, I'm sure. There is nothing that is not possible in this universe, so I guess you can find some way to make the file names exactly the same, even though you are tagging them with date. Anyway, that would be one of the reasons to make the file names unique, but also another reason is that you have a clear overview of things. You know exactly when you made every single backup, when the backup was made, not the last edit date, which you can see from ls, but rather instead the creation date of the file, which is extremely convenient for you, as all that you need to do is ls, and then you get the creation dates of all your files, and if you have named them in any meaningful manner, you will immediately know what is what, when has what been created. For that purpose, we need to create better output of the date command, because this output to attach, basically to do this, echo test dot open parentheses date. I hate this keyboard, I really do. Press enter. This would be highly inconvenient. You see what has happened here? I have echoed the word test and dot, and after dot I have attached the date to it. So it's now test, and you have this. First problem. The first problem would of course be that you have spaces in between these things, and that is definitely not convenient for file names. Not a good idea at all. Second problem is that we have too much information here. The names of the files would be too long. We would get some unnecessary things. For example, this month can easily be represented with a number or something of a kind. We don't need it to say that it was created on Monday, and we don't need this. A year, okay, maybe, yeah, that's a year is actually not a bad idea. For this purpose, we are going to go ahead and type in date dash dash help.